to another episode of the Hotspur House. Today we are going to be reviewing the Burnley game. Today I'm joined by Bodhi from hotspur.industry. What did you think of the game, Bodhi?
Um, well, I thought it was one of the worst performances of the season. We never seemed to do well against Burnley. We certainly could have done better. There was no real spark in the midfield. Davies and Dyer were absolutely shambolic, and Sissoko he didn't turn out to be the right player for the game. I would have rather seen Winks, to be honest. The front three didn't really have much to do. Something else I noticed which wasn't great was how Kane wasn't playing deeper as he usually done. He played very high, which at the minute usually at the minute he's been getting a lot deeper, but for some reason Jose set him up to play really high, so he didn't really get any of the ball except for the header that led to Son's goal, which might I add that was lucky, but I guess it's okay. I mean, we got the win, and it's always a tough game against Burnley, but for all the hype that we've been given Spurs, you should expect a better performance.
I feel like it's a bit harsh. I mean, the Burnley side sat back behind the ball like the Burnley sides do. But at the end of the day, it's the 3 points that matter. But we're also joined by Charlie from N17 Nation. What did you think of the game, Charlie?
It was hard to watch. So the first half was really disappointing when it comes to creativity. We had a few half chances, but as you said, Burnley. I don't even know why teams bother playing like that. Like in the modern day, like fans want to watch good football, at least something to cheer for. But some of these teams, like Burnley or I don't know, championship teams, and these teams that just put everyone behind the ball, playing classic boring 4-4-2 football that they used to play back in the day 40 years ago.
But that's the weird thing. How come 4-4-2 works for us? Because every single time we've played 4-4-2, we've had, like when we played against Southampton in the second half, when we scored those goals, we changed to 4-4-2. Anytime we've changed to 4-4-2, we've had an exciting game with loads of goals. So why is it different for us?
Well, it depends on the your philosophy behind the 4-4-2. For us, it seemed like we were really attacking. And the Burnley sides, they sit back. But just going back to Charlie's point about why teams play in the 4-4-2, it's because it works. It gets them points, even if it's just 1 point and if it's not particularly exciting. I mean, on another day, Kane's header off the line doesn't happen and they score the goal, and then we don't get a lucky deflection that leads to Sun scoring. And then they end up winning the game 1-0 and they stay in the Premier League, which is how they've been in the Premier League for so long. It's hard for us to criticize how teams play after we appointed Jose Mourinho to win us trophies, because we wanted not necessarily the most manager with the most style to guide us to the trophies, but he's proven. Obviously, he hasn't turned out to be the defensive manager that we all thought he would be, but it's what keeps them up. Fans would rather see their team in the Premier League and playing bad football than playing good football in the Championship or League One. I think so. I mean, it really just comes down to where they want to be and sacrifices you have to make to be where that is. Bodhi, what do you think about Burnley's style of play?
Yeah, well, to be fair, you're probably spot on. Yeah, we did play 4-4-2 as well, and when we scored loads of goals, we did play quite high. But it worked for us, and I feel like that's something we should implement more to our game, because if Joe Rodon is as good as what people say, if you get, let's say, Skriniar in as well, then maybe you can play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. But right now, with how strong our defense is, it's pretty weak. It's the weakest part of our team. A 4-4-2 is a fantastic formation to play, and the way Jose set us up when he played it kept it very exciting. Burnley, they have a very boring way of doing it. Like you said, they get points and they do well, but I mean, why would you want to watch it?
Yeah.
It's not even the fact that it's like it's tough for us to play against them, and two, they just bore you to death.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I just didn't finish quite with the Burnley thing. So yeah, they play 4-4-2, but it's all about the formation. The fact is, these teams, Burnley, Newcastle, and we always struggle with it. Not just Spurs, but most teams. But we do seem to
Mhm.
struggle quite a lot in defence. The fact is, they don't just play 4-4-2 and boring football. They play route one football, where they just bang the ball up the pitch, hoping that one of the two huge 6'3" strikers, Wood or Barnes,
Mhm.
head it onto a fullback, and they cross it in back to them, and they head it in. That is exactly what they do every single time, and it's infuriating. And every team struggles with it. But yeah,
yeah, that's the thing though.
Dyer was
I feel
shambolic,
like
but then he was
yeah.
great in the first 10 minutes.
Something I've realized is I feel like with these sort of teams, how they play boring football and all, it's really annoying to watch. Getting the win against those type of teams makes it that much more satisfying. It's just the fact of how we played to get that win that made me not very happy with it.
Mhm. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it really just comes down to the 3 points. But yeah, definitely be frustrating to be a Burnley fan or any fan that just of a team that plays so deep behind the ball. Uh, yeah, Charlie, what do you think of Tanguy Ndombele? What do you think of his performance against Burnley?
Well, I did post an edit on him recently on my account. I think he's back to his best. I mean, actually, not quite his best. Obviously, his best will be Zidane-esque if he gets to his
Well,
full
this is
potential.
the best he's been so far.
Yeah, this is the best he's been.
I agree.
And he's just beautiful to watch, really. I mean, the way he glides past opponents, yes, he gets a few passes wrong, but he takes risks. And that's what I love about him. He's the only player that we have starting right now that takes risks and tries these breaking balls that go through the holes in the defenses, because we were struggling against Burnley to try to
Mhm.
find that killer pass, and he was the only one really attempting that. Like, there were moments where he was the highest up the pitch. Like, he was running at the fence, and he was quite attacking against Burnley, I must admit. And there was that part where he dribbled past a few of them on the side and then went for a very optimistic shot, which is good to see. Just a bit of confidence for him. And I really think that we'll be looking at possibly the best midfielder in the Premier League next year.
I completely
And
agree.
yeah, he's just
I think he's better than Pogba by some
By a
distance.
right
His
now,
mile.
yes.
By a
and now
mile.
his work rate is something that I think has like it's something that's putting him above other midfielders. I think he has one of the hardest work rates in the team right now. I mean, and that's crazy. That's something you wouldn't be saying last season. That his improvement is just it's coming leaps and bounds, and I'm sure Mourinho is very proud of him. And like Charlie was saying, he's one of the only players in our lineup who seems to be able to get the ball and really
Yeah,
pass
well,
it through the lines.
when you do well, right? When you do well, and you get praise from a manager like Jose Mourinho, it can do nothing but give you more confidence. Like, look at Jack Clark, right?
Oh
After
my word! Sorry, this has nothing to do with Tottenham, but wow. Real Madrid are losing 2-0 to Borussia Mönchengladbach, which means they'll lose their first two games of the group stage. Oh my god, could they be going out? Okay, carry on, sorry.
Oh, okay, no, actually,
like
sorry, we'll circle back to that. Bodhi, you finish.
but when Jack Clark played, he how we mentioned that he has so much more confidence
Hmm.
because of the praise from Jose Mourinho. A manager like Jose Mourinho who's so tough on players. Another a huge benefit about having a manager like that is when you get praise, it makes players so much more happy and gives them so much more confidence. And I feel like if Dele Alli was to ever get to his old self, he's the manager to help him do it. I
Uh,
think if Jose can't help him, then no one can.
Well, the issue right now for Delhi is that we just have such a strong squad in the midfield. I mean, Højbjerg, Sissoko, Winks, Lo Celso, Dombele, and to be honest, he's competing with Lo Celso and Dombele to get into that really attacking, creative midfielder role, and Dele Alli doesn't fit the system we're playing right now. So I hope the reason he's been kind of left out of squads and not playing is because he's reinventing himself in trainings, and Mourinho's working with him to really develop him into more of a Lo Celso or Dombele, where he can get the ball deeper, which is something he hasn't really shown to be in his game, and then progress it up the field and pass it between the lines, similar to Dombele or Lo Celso, because that's what we need. We don't need
That's the thing, though.
number
He's
10.
he's a goal scorer as well, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And Dombele and Lo Celso have been very deep playmakers, and they don't really get any goal scoring chances. They're more give it up to Kane, and then Kane will pass to Son, then Son will score. That's how he's been playing at the minute. But Dele Alli likes to get up in the final third, receive a cross, and bang in the back of the net. So it'll be tough for him because his shooting's probably one of the best parts of his game, and by changing to that sort of role, he'll be losing it.
Oh, well, I have a lot to say about what you just said. So, Dele Alli is a very interesting topic, but let me just stop you right there. His shooting is not a good part of his game. It used to be. When was the last time you've seen Dele Alli score a goal outside of the box? When was the last time he's tried to shoot outside of the box? Probably 2018. I have not seen him score a good goal from just maybe on the edge of the box, anywhere. All that he scores is tap-ins if he actually does score, or headers. I've honestly not seen him score like a good goal from outside the box in years.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't really had much game time to prove that, and not to mention.
You're saying he hasn't played enough in the last 2.5 years? Come on. The thing is, looking at our whole squad that was starting and on the bench yesterday against Burnley, is there any player there that you'd actually take out to put Dele in? For me, there isn't. Currently, there isn't. That's the thing.
No, me neither, but
it's sad.
Some good points. Now, here's the thing, though. Would you put Dele in? Would you start Dele in the Europa League games to give him game time to show that he can get back in the squad?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I think I would. But depends really. It all depends on what's happening in training. Only Jose and the players know what's happening, to be honest.
That's a fair point.
And that's why we have all or nothing.
If only there was
all or nothing. All or nothing gave us false hope about Dele, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Well, I mean, it's such an odd thing with Dele because he was clearly one of Jose's favorites when he first got there, and now he's just he's dropped off. I don't know what really happened with him. I mean, Jose was never a fan of his work rate, but maybe maybe Dele was just like Jose's. Sorry, I'm just gonna.
Okay, you guys are gonna hate me for saying this.
Oh boy!
But what if Dele was a 2-season wonder?
A 2-season wonder.
I've definitely thought of it.
Because I thought that he was going to be the biggest talent in English. I mean, he was the biggest talent in English football by far in 2017. His stats were unbelievable. He scored 21 goals that season with like 20 assists, and he was 21. He scored a banger on his English debut. Yeah. He was literally going through the charts. He was winning us games against Real Madrid. Everyone was raving about him. I was in Thailand, and this guy knew. He didn't know any Tottenham players except for Dele Alli. And now he's forgotten. And I think he might end up playing for a team like Leicester, fighting for Europa League. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think it comes down to the system for Dele because he really excelled in that role of playing kind of just off of Kane, and
yeah, he did.
We don't have that kind of player. I mean, Son kind of plays off of it.
We play 4-3-3 now.
Yeah, we play the 4-3-3, and we don't have the number 10 in the way that Dele played it. If that makes sense. I mean, Dele excels when he's playing just off of Kane's shoulder and can kind of flick it back and forth between them. And his best season came, and he had like I think him and Kane were the players with like the most assists from one to the other, and now we seem to have found that pairing with Kane and Son. And
Well,
in a way,
he's an interesting. Wait, sorry.
no. You can go. I was finished.
Look, here's an interesting question. If Dele Alli were to leave, where do you think he'd be going?
I think he'd leave England.
Because
Probably.
PSG have been wanting him.
I could see him going to PSG. I think.
What about
Okay.
Inter Milan?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why.
I think Delhi will end up. I think Delhi will end up on the reserves of Manchester United or something. You
No,
hate to see it.
I think he'd leave England if he left the club. I think he'd either we'd let him go for like 30 million. I think is a realistic.
Do you think he'd go to one of the Spanish giants?
See, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I think he'd either go to Bayern for like 30 million and they'd completely revolutionize him, and he'd
a bit
become
like
the world star.
was for Bayern.
And or
Yeah, but the difference is
he would
Coutinho's
go to
still a great
PSG.
player. I guarantee you, if we sign Coutinho, he'd be our best player, like James
No.
Rodriguez with Everton. No, I can guarantee you, he's
Not our
exactly what
best
we
player.
still need.
Kane is the best player in the Premier League.
Yeah, I don't think
Kane is the best player on the planet after Ronaldo and Messi. I'm not even going to argue. He's
some Bayern fans will
same
be at you
level as
about Lewandowski.
Nah, I think all round
Berbatov said it himself.
Yeah.
No, but all
But then
round,
again,
yeah,
Berbatov compared himself to Kane, which is laughable. So I'm not going to go into that.
But to be fair though, right? Kane all round is the better player, but Lewandowski's finishing is just out of this
No,
world.
but
I mean,
Lewandowski's technique is unbelievable. Remember last year when we lost 7-2? Let's not remember that, but
I'd
the way
rather
he
not
flicked
remember
the
that.
ball over our defenders, he's very skillful, Lewandowski. He can do anything. But right now, Kane is like whatever on the footballing charts or whatever. He currently has like a 10 out of 10 score or whatever. He's like the
Yeah.
highest in Europe. I don't know. So yeah.
So just going back to Dele really quickly, I think it was very, very good for Dele that we didn't sign Donny van de Beek when there was rumors that we had like kind of tried to steal the deal from Man United.
He's made a mistake, hasn't he?
He has made a mistake, but I think that may have saved Dele's career, because if Donny van de Beek was in the side, he'd be the one rotating in with Lo Celso and Dombele, I think. And I
Van de Beek, at the minute, Van de Beek would have benefited us a lot more than what Dele has.
I agree. I agree with that. But I think if Van de Beek was here, Dele wouldn't have a shot in the squad. He'd be out. He'd maybe come in for some Europa League games, maybe for some cup games.
No. If Van de Beek came in, Dele would be sold.
Yeah,
I know that
agree.
for a fact.
I was gonna say, I think he'd come in for the cup
but
games, he'd come in for like a few league games, but he'd
it.
get sold in January.
Next year, Dele Alli's 25. He's not a wonder kid.
No, is he?
He is.
Yeah.
Jesse
I swear he isn't. There's no way.
He is.
Wow. Times have got flown by quick, haven't they?
Yeah.
No, but for the last few years, I kept thinking, Dele's still only 22, 23, he's still got time. He's still one of the best wonder kids in the Prem. He's still going to get back to his best. And I just can't accept, because I've been a Tottenham fan for quite a while now. I mean, it's just, I've seen Dele Alli rise from all the Spurs fans hating on Poch for signing some random wonder kid from the EFL to him becoming one of our best players, and it's just so hard to see it, really. I mean,
he was like Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa, but better.
But
he was much better than Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins has been a great signing for Villa. He's been one of their best players.
Yeah.
which is a similar story to Dele Alli. I feel like we kind of
But
regretted this
Watkins wasn't
signing him.
unknown. We signed Delhi from League One, not the Championship.
Yeah. But
I feel like we made a mistake not going into Ollie Watkins because there was rumors linking us with him, but then he went to Villa.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can only do so much. I don't think Ollie Watkins wanted to come to
Yeah,
Spurs.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Players like Ollie Watkins who come from the Championship, like let alone Championship League One, they're a huge gamble. So
Yeah.
but it seems like a lot of them always pay off.
Well, the ones you remember pay off, but the ones you don't remember are the ones who, like, there's more that you don't remember, that didn't pay off than the ones are that actually succeeded. I think it's just you don't remember the ones who failed, but you remember, oh, there's him and him and him and him and him, and you have like a list of players so you can look at and say, oh, they succeeded. But going back to the that Real Madrid game really quickly, they are still losing 2-0, and two things about that.
Unbelievable. Could they be going
If
out?
they finish third, they'll be dropped down into the Europa League, which
Oh
isn't
no,
good
that's
for
not
us.
good. No, this is not good. Oh,
But then the other thing as well is if they lose, I think it's not a stretch to say that Zidane would
yeah,
be
they're gonna
sacked.
still get qualified probably.
Probably, but I think it wouldn't be a stretch if they don't figure it out soon. I think they'll be sacked. I think Zidane will be sacked. And that is also
I
not
really,
good for us.
to be honest,
I think
I really hope to see Poch take the Real Madrid job.
well, I do, but then if Poch takes the Real Madrid job, I think he'd be saying, "Oh wait, Reguilon at Spurs, we can buy him for a set price, right?" And then he'd come to Spurs, and then Reguilon. You never know what Reguilon's really thinking.
No,
I mean, he can say to the press all he wants that he loves Spurs
I think
and that he's
I
having his time
honestly
of his
think
life. But
Pochettino would come if Pochettino signed for Real Madrid. The only player he would probably buy out of that Spurs squad is Dele Alli. If I'm going to be completely honest, him
He
and
adores
Dele
Dele.
really like each other. I feel like he would sign back Dele if he moved.
well, then the other thing too is that he can take Bale back. So I think
Would he take Bale back?
I think he would. I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, and ultimately, there's not really anything Bale can do about it. Bale can't force a loan.
True.
And whatever manager they appoint, it's up to the manager whether or not they'll want Bale or whether, and then Reguilon can decide whether or not he wants to move. But I think that this is an important season where we've been saying it a lot, but we need to win a trophy for the basics, to get the trophy into the cabinet that we've been searching for so long. And then if you really look into like the details, we need a trophy to convince Kane to stay, to convince Son to stay, and to convince Reguilon to stay. Because Kane, he has quite a long contract on him, but if he has the season of his life like he's having right now, and we don't win a trophy, he's gonna say, "What's the point? I've played incredibly all year long, and we don't win a trophy." And then same thing with Son. He's playing incredibly, and if we don't win a trophy, maybe he'll say, "Oh, I could move somewhere else and I'll win a trophy. I don't even have to play as well." So it's a really, really important season for us if we want to stay at this elite status with these elite players.
Yeah, I agree. Who's our next game?
Our next game is against Antwerp in the Europa League.
Should we get into our preview on that, or
let's get into that.
Is there something else? Yeah, okay.
So we play Antwerp on Thursday. We won our first game in the Europa League, obviously, quite easily, 3-0 over LASK. And we play Antwerp, who have won their last 5 games in all competitions. And they beat Ludogorets Razgrad, who are the other team in our group, 2-1. So we are currently first in our Europa League group with 3 points and +3 goal differential, with Antwerp in second with 3 points and +1 goal differential. What are you guys thinking about going into this game? Confidence levels, key players that you think will be seen in the match?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we should win because they're a small team. It should be expected. Like 3-0
Mhm.
against Lask, it was expected. I actually feel like we should have got more based on how many
Mhm.
chances we got. But I mean, it is what it is. We still got the win. But yeah, I think we should get a comfortable 3-0 at least,
Mhm.
despite their winning form. I think it's a must-win game. If you're a Division One in Premier League club who's fighting for the title.
Right, this is the
Yeah.
Prem, not Division One. Division One was in the 70s.
Well, this should. Yeah, I don't know. I'd
I'm
rather
joking.
pronounce it that
I'm
way.
joking.
All right. But
Um,
yeah, we're fighting for the title in the toughest league in the world. You should be expecting at least 3-0 comfortably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be one of those games again where they pull a Burnley and they just sit behind the ball for all 90 minutes, and we are just struggling
No,
to creatively.
I really don't think they'll do that, to be honest. I feel like they'll be very attacking. I don't know much about them, but something that you notice about those small clubs is despite how they're lower quality, they seem to know how to beat a team. So I feel like they'll play very attacking. Depending on who will play, they'll specifically target that specific player. So there'll be a tough game if they set up their tactics accordingly. So, but yeah, still should be an easy game.
I I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be 2-0 just because it's away from home in a city that everyone except for Alderweireld is not familiar with. Um, it's I think it'll be a I think we'll have a tough time. But we'll have the quality on the field, no doubt about it. We have the quality in our subs and our reserves that should be able to come on and quite easily win the game. But I mean, we saw with the qualifying games that nothing's easy. Uh, so I think it'll be 2-0. We'll control most of the game, but it won't be comfortable. But I think that the Burnley game and the LASK game are going to really launch us into this period of defensive solid so, solidness. And I think we're really just going to go on a stretch of where we don't concede, and the fans, pundits, other teams are going to take notice of what's happening at Spurs. 'Cause I really I don't see us conceding. I mean, I know our defense isn't the strongest, but I think this is the time where we go on a winning run. We win every game until the international break, and then after that's when we have a really rough run. And that's where it's really going to be a season defining month for us. I think like end of November, beginning of December. Uh, but
Yeah, I
these are the
agree.
types of games we need to win if we want to prove how serious we are about winning trophies. What do you think, Charlie?
well, um, I didn't hear your question exactly. Can you just say it one more time?
Oh, yeah, well, just any thoughts heading
What
into
are we
this
talking about?
Antwerp game?
Oh, well, the Antwerp game, they're pretty decent Belgian team, but the Belgian league is very average. I mean, it's about the equivalent of the championship. So
Mhm.
I'd say we've got. I think I think LASK is the best team in our group. But Antwerp's not far off them.
Mhm.
Ludogorets is, I think, the worst. I'd say. I mean, they're in the same league as Plovdiv, so we shouldn't be worried about them. But yeah, Antwerp. I mean, they've got a few decent players, I must say, but I think they're not like Burnley. That I think they will actually come at us in the first half, and then we'll just
Yeah,
punish them on the counter attack. No, no, this is how it will be. So we're gonna score an early goal. Um, and they'll be defending a bit in the first half Antwerp, and we're going to score one or two. And then in the second half, they know they need to attack, so they're going to attack us, and we're just going to score a few on the counter attack. And we're going to win 4-0, I'll say.
Mm, that's a nice prediction. I I don't know. For some reason, I'm not feeling a an early goal from us. I think we'll score around the 30th minute, uh, somewhere around that area, maybe just before halftime, and then we'll go on in the second half and we'll score 2 goals before the 60th minute, and then we'll kind of just coast to finish the game. But we'll have a strong attacking lineup. I mean, we'll have Carlos Vinicius most likely starting alongside Gareth Bale and one of Lucas Moura or Steven Bergwijn, depending on whether or not he's ready to come back. And be able to rest Son and Kane. And then our midfield will also be relatively strong. I think we'll see let's also start Harry Winks and one of Sissoko or Højbjerg. I mean, and then we'll be able to rest a few key players. But we have a strong lineup. I mean, it's impressive the depth we have this year. It's really incredible. But with that attacking lineup, I mean, we should win this game easily. I'm not even going into our defense on that one, but it really should be. I'm gonna regret saying this, but it should be a piece of cake. It's I mean, it's a Belgian team. We're Premier League. We're pushing for trophies. We should be able to kind of swipe them aside. It's never like that as a Spurs fan, but like I said, these are the games we need to win, and we need to prove that we're here to win things. We're here to not mess around. We're going for the trophies at this point. What do you think, Bodhi, about our lineup?
Should I do my lineup now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. I think first, we should, so a 4-3-3. I'd like to see. So I think Aurier is going to be right back. Or also Paulo Gazzaniga or Joe Hart and goalkeeper. More likely Joe Hart based on this season.
Gazzaniga can't play in the Europa League.
Oh right, yeah, yes, right, okay, yeah. Then Joe Hart, Joe Rodon, I think.
He can't play in Europa League either.
Oh God, no, he can't, can he? All right.
That's infuriating.
Yeah, this would be a really good game for him to get his first start in.
That's annoying. Well then, I think I'll probably say Alderweireld and Sanchez, to be completely honest. Or all I know is that Sanchez is probably going to be in the lineup. So
yeah.
Then left back, probably Davies again, I'm guessing.
You think Reguilon will be left out for 2 games in a row?
I feel like Reguilon may be saved for the Premier League, next Premier League game. I think in the midfield, Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Lamela, and then up top, Bergwijn on the left, Vinicius in the centre, and Bale on the right.
That's a strong lineup.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Charlie?
I'm thinking Joe Hart, then Aurier. Actually, wait a minute. Give me a minute. Yeah, unless Tanganga's fit, then I'd play Tanganga on it right back. But
yeah, Tanganga's still injured, Aurier. I think.
And then I play Sanchez and Davies centre backs. Reggie having a bit of fun at left back. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change the formation. I'm going to go. Yeah, it's like I'm playing FIFA. Joe Hart in goal. Then 3 centre backs. Sanchez, Dyer, and Davies. And then I'd go for Reguilon attacking like a left wing back, Aurier right wing back, Ndombele. No, we're not going to risk Ndombele. Winks and Lo Celso in midfield, just to give Lo Celso a run in because he hasn't played in a while, just to get him used to football again.
I think Lamela deserves
and
some
then
game time.
then Lamela, and then in front of Lamela, Vinicius and Bale. It's a weird team, but
pretty strong though.
Do you think? Well, what about Dele Alli? Do you not think he'll play?
I've given up on him. I'm telling you, I don't know.
Yeah, me too. But you never know with Jose. He's very unpredictable. Like I said last pod.
I think. So I already know my lineup, so I won't go through it again. But I think Lo Celso will start, and Dele will be on the bench, and then we'll bring Dele on for Lo Celso around the depending on how the game's going, realistic. Probably around the 60th minute, maybe at halftime. And hopefully this will be when Dele starts getting slowly reintroduced to the squad, and we start showing some faith in him again. And hopefully he provides a goal. I mean, that would be just exceptional if he scored. But Only Jose Mourinho and Dele Alli know what's truly happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Score predictions? We already went through that.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna stick with. No, I'm gonna change it now. You guys have changed my mind. I think it's gonna be 3-0. Goals from Carlos Vinicius, Gareth Bale, and I think Reguilon. I think Reguilon's gonna score.
For me, it's at least 3-0. I'm sticking with it. Has to be. Or like, I to be honest, with something I've noticed with these smaller teams, is I feel we might actually concede like 2 goals, but just outscore them. So
Mhm.
maybe it'll end something along the lines of 5-4-2 to us, or like they'll score 1 or 2 goals at maximum.
Mhm.
But I feel they might punish us. But I feel it's still, like I said, it's a comfortable game. So I think at least 3 goals to us and 2 for them maximum. So
It could happen. You sticking with your prediction, Charlie?
Yeah, 4-0.
4-0. Well, we're confident. Hopefully the players are and the manager is, and everyone really goes into that game expecting to win and then is ready to fight for it. Any other thoughts you guys want to throw in?
yeah, I have one more thing that just popped up.
Mhm.
It's something that people have been mentioning a lot. Are you at the minute who would you rather see being our starting right back at Aurier or Doherty?
Ooh. For me, I think
Uh,
Aurier
Like
is currently.
I'm not referring to just this game. I'm referring to like all season long,
Yeah.
because I've had a lot of talk, a lot of people saying that Doherty's been nothing special, but since Aurier's finally got some competition, he's raised his game, and they'd rather see him play over Doherty at the minute and stuff. And other people saying that Doherty should be given a chance. Well, what's your thoughts on it?
I think that Doherty is he's acclimating. I mean, this is really his first professional move from one club to a different club. I mean, he's been at Wolves since he was like 18, so he's getting used to being in a new training ground with new facilities, with a new manager, with new players, and I think he just needs to be given some time and some time on the pitch as well. So I think I would prefer Doherty. I think he's the better player out of the two. But Aurier, I mean, he's proved to be a bit of a liability in the past, so I don't know. I'm not too confident in Aurier. I mean, he gave away the
I'm
free
not
kick that
sure.
West Ham equalized
Aurier's
on, so or scored
Aurier stepped
their
his
second
game
on.
up a lot, but I still think he's inconsistent.
Yes.
If he gains consistency, then he'll end up coming out on top over Doherty, and I think we
Okay,
could
this
see
is
him become.
controversial, but if Aurier had some consistency in his game, he'd be one of the best right backs in the Premier League.
Yeah,
But I just don't see him getting that consistency. I don't think it's
yeah,
something that he can really work on.
yeah.
But
But I mean, on the positive side, the signing of Doherty's really pushed him, and
yeah,
not
I
only
agree.
has it made the competition tighter for the right back spots, also made our overall quality on the
Increase.
right hand side better. At the
Hmm.
minute, our weakest position is probably the centre back role.
Yeah.
But hopefully, Joe Rodon can fix it a bit, and
Hmm.
and the backup left back. Because I don't know about you, but Davies' performances recently have been terrible.
I think they've been
I'm sorry. No,
Davies.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they haven't been terrible, but he was
They
what
have.
we. He ruined the Burnley game in the first half. He had so many chances to whip the ball in against Burnley, and every time he was too slow, or he just failed to get a good cross in, or there was no one there. If that was Reguilon, we would have scored 2 at least in the first.
That's what I'm saying. We don't. Davies, he's not even that good to have on the backup. I'd rather be having Danny Rose on
Oh
as the
damn!
backup.
I'd rather have Ben Davis as backup, but I think
I don't agree with
Davis
that.
isn't an attacking left back. He's more of he's an old fashioned type of fullback. He's not
Yeah,
attacking at all. So you
that doesn't fit with our play style one bit at all.
well, I mean,
If you look at Doherty and Aurier, they're both very attacking as well
Reguilon.
as Reguilon, yeah. And then when they push up, Højbjerg fills in, becomes a centre back, and then they fill out with a 4 at the back again. So it all works with attacking fullbacks. And Davies, he's just too defensive, and he's so mistake prone at the back as well.
I don't think he's mistake prone. He's made a few in the past seasons. I mean, Davis is we call Harry Winks the Ben Davis of midfield, but he's the Harry Winks of left backs.
They're being paid 80,000 a week whatsoever to play good football. You can't be making mistakes like that if you're being paid that much money.
The only mistake I can think of in my head that Ben Davis has made recently was that the PK he gave away against RB Leipzig last year in the Champions League.
No, it's not even that defensive. It's also attackingly as well. I can't see him. He hasn't put in any successful crosses whatsoever. He's done nothing to contribute up top.
He had the assist for Kane.
He doesn't
against Maccabi.
He does anything.
That
was one time though. Reguilon is consistent with his attacking ability.
I think we're being a bit harsh on Davis. I think Reguilon has raised our expectations a little too high. But
I just think Davies needs to improve if he doesn't want to be replaced.
I agree that we can definitely see some improvement on Davis. But yeah, he's consistent and he's more defensive. He's better defensively than Reguilon is. Reguilon has more pace, but I think Ben Davis is a better. I think Ben Davis is a better one-on-one defender, and a better team defender as well. Reguilon, don't get me wrong, I'd rather have Reguilon in the lineup. I think Reguilon's a better player.
But the thing is, right, Reguilon has made one mistake, and that was overcommitting in a slide tackle. Let's put in, for example, right, any other player, like let's say that was Hudson-Odoi, right, instead of Azpilicueta, Hudson-Odoi would try to cross it in, and then Reguilon would make a fantastic interception. It's players like Azpilicueta who are very experienced, who are able to read the game and then have a picture of what's going to happen and then a better outcome. So a player like Azpilicueta, you knew he was going to cut. You knew he was going to cut, and he wasn't going to cross that first time. If it was a young player like Hudson-Odoi, he would have crossed that, and then Reguilon would have made an interception. It would have been fantastic. It's just I don't know. I think Reguilon's better all around. I think if you give him some more games, and he'll show his defensive qualities, I think you'll realize that everything about him has been better than Davies.
My point is just that I think Ben Davis is reliable. I think he's a good player to have in the squad. He's a good enough backup for now. I'm not saying we should work on maybe investing on a new player and moving Ben Davis on to a smaller club.
He can play in the smaller games, but he's just not good enough for competitive matches. Or not good enough for our team anyways.
It's funny, like, when Bodhi doesn't like a player, he really doesn't like him. Like, he doesn't give him a chance. He just says, "You're not good enough," throws him out.
But that's how you have to be in the modern day of football. If you want. I'm having all these Spurs fans saying, "Oh, we have a chance of winning the league."
No. Bodhi,
if you want to win the league, you have to be ruthless. You have to be ruthless.
I have a perfect example here. I bet you were saying the same about Moussa Sissoko when he joined. We all were. And look what he is now. He's the GOAT.
Well, be fair,
he's dipped at them.
He was bad against Burnley, but that's not the point. He's a great player now, and there's no denying it.
Okay, we have to wrap up soon, but to be fair to Sissoko, that was his first season when he was bad. Ben Davis has been here for like 6 years now, maybe.
Yeah,
5 years.
That's my point.
But
yeah, that is the point actually.
I still think that Davis is a good enough player to have as backup for this season, or at least until January. But I wouldn't. But I mean, and then again, we don't need to invest in a new left back. We have Dennis Serkin and Ryan Sessegnon who are trying to burst into the first team.
I know, but
and I think they're both good enough.
I look at Real Madrid at them, and like they could bring back Reguilon and use him on the bench. And he's a starting player for us. Imagine having a player of Reguilon's quality on the bench. We need that. We really need that. Vinicius is the best backup player we have at the team at the minute. which is why the striker spot has improved so much.
Definitely cases to be made on both sides of it. Yeah.
But is this it then? Is that it?
Well, if there's any more thoughts you guys want to
I
throw
don't
in,
have anything else to say.
No,
Alrighty.
me neither.
I think about 15 minutes ago.
It was
we were ready
it
to
was
wrap up.
originally just me talking about Aurier and Doherty, and then it sparked
Moved
into
into the,
loads of different things.
The other fullbacks. Well, thank you guys for coming again. Thank you all for listening so much. We appreciate you. Make sure to subscribe if you're listening to us on YouTube, or follow if you're on Spotify, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts as well. Thank you for listening once again. Come on, you Spurs.